What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. I am Joe. I'm here with Kramzer and Jason in the sensation that's sweeping the nation. And that is our albums of the year. On today's episode, we are already into 1972. I mean, these early 70 years, it's just classic album after classic album. Every big artist of the era is just cranking out record after record. 1972 also saw John Lennon. Apparently, this was like the big thing of the year. John Lennon is getting extradited from the US because his visa expired. As far as like the music, the number one hit of 1972 was Don McLean's American Pie. And the number one album was actually Harvest by Neil Young, which I found kind of surprising. You also saw some breakups, CCR, Jefferson Airplane, Them, Velvet Underground all broke up. And it was a big year for kind of Motown, R&B. A lot of people were kind of breaking away from the, clutches of Motown, going out on their own. So you had a lot of big albums. I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, there's just so much going on in 1972 that's, I don't know, I could talk forever about it. So we might as well just get into our list unless someone else has something big to add about the year.
Yeah, we can jump into it. My runners up for the second year in a row. I got a Nick Drake album. I have Pink Moon. Just a fantastic record, great guitar playing. Also have someone who's going to be pretty much a regular on my list. I've got Something Anything by Todd Rundgren. Fantastic double album. A lot of great, just classic pop tunes, plus a lot of like kind of his weirder sense of humor creeping in a bit to some of the tracks as well. Big thing though for 72 for me is that this is the year of glam. Basically what I consider the holy trinity of glam rock comes out this year, and those records take up the last three spots on my list. I've got All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. I've got The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. And my number one, gotta be The Slider by T-Rex.
Super.
Just so good. The production's amazing from Tony Visconti. I think Electric Warriors probably thought of as the more classic record because it has Bang a Gong on it, but I think this is a far superior record. The songs are just so catchy, really good. Like I said, the production's amazing. It sounds fantastic. You've got those awesome Flo and Eddie backing vocals all over it. It's just so cool, and one of my favorite records, maybe my favorite record of the 70s. I love it.
Good call. I wouldn't expect anything different from you, Mr. Reese. Way to go. Gotta love all the glam coming out this year, but if you're me, you gotta love 5 albums even more. No glam on my list. I agreed Slider is the best T-Rex album. Well, you didn't say the best T-Rex album, you said better than Electric Warrior. But
it's the best T-Rex, right? Yeah, it's the best T-Rex.
The best T-Rex album, yeah. All right, my 4 runners up. Had no idea it was the number one selling album. Good shout out, Joe. I've got Harvest by Neil Young. I've also got Pink Moon by Nick Drake. I've got what a lot of people consider to be the best rock and roll album of all time with Exile on Main Street. And then I've got Number One Record by Big Star. My winner is Elton John, Honky Chateau.
Super.
Not sure if it's my favorite Elton John album. We'll have to wait for that listography, but it's my favorite of this year. I love the diverse nature of some really slow stuff, some really upbeat stuff, some quirky stuff. He kind of takes on like this different character for like a lot of songs, and is just really taking on like the vision and sort of the first person point of view that Taupin is writing here, from Honky Cat to Rocket Man to Slave. There's just a really different dynamic, and Elton John already has a lot of personality in his singing, and I think it really comes out here. Piano is nice and heavy and fun as well on this. And then you've got some really nice, low, beautiful moments like Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatter's. Honky Cat is one of my all-time favorite songs. I just love kind of the vibe he's doing, kind of this like erotic kind of purring, like really coy, bringing you in and then kind of pushing you away. It's a cool song about, going out into the city and kind of finding yourself. it's an awesome album. Rocket Man and Mona Lisa, Mad Hatters are the big hits off of it, but everything on this is great. I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself, Amy, I love it all the way through. This or Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is my favorite Elton John off the top of my head. This one, it's not a runaway winner for me. It was between this and Pink Moon, and I think there's just a little bit more, there's just more elements to this album, to be honest. I mean, Pink Moon is a really stripped down, beautifully majestic album, but this one wins it for me just because it has a little bit more boisterous flavor to it. So yeah, Honky Chateau, 1972 favorite album of the year.
A fantastic pick. That is also on my list of runners-up. One of my favorite Elton John albums, really kind of his breakout into critical and mass appeal. So we got Honky Chateau, Elton John. Gotta go with Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. It's almost perfect. Great album. Only thing that would make it better is if Donald Fagen sang on all the tracks. But a fantastic album, no weak tracks. Also have Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. It's one of the all-time classic glam. I love Bronson's guitar, especially on Moon Age Daydream, just phenomenal. That outro is ridiculous. I've got Black Sabbath with their Volume 4. I appreciate the early Black Sabbath, but I like it a lot better from this album on, actually. I think they get weirder and kind of less doom and gloom and kind of mix it up, and I really like that. But my number one, I mentioned Motown earlier, and this artist was basically a wonderkind from 14, 13 years old. Already had a bunch of number one hits, had another album out this same year, which was really good. It didn't quite make the list, but it's another fantastic one. Of course, I'm talking about Stevie Wonder and Talking Book.
Super.
This is kind of when he became the Stevie Wonder of legend, of critical acclaim. And this is just an unbelievable album. He brought in a bunch of kind of guest artists. Jeff Beck's on this. So it wasn't quite the solo show that he would kind of transition to after this for Intervisions and Songs in the Key of Life, where he basically played every instrument. On this, though, he really kind of breaks out as a songwriter. You Are the Sunshine of My Life, Tuesday Heartbreak, You Got a Bad Girl, Superstition, Big Brother. He gets very political, stuff like Big Brother, Superstition, kind of covers all the bases. I mean, he was already an incredible pianist, incredible singer, but this is the one where he kind of outgrew Motown and just kind of put it all on himself to create, and he nails it. It's one of my all-time favorite albums. This kind of string between him and Elton John had about 7 albums in like a 4-year span, all just ridiculous, unbelievable, almost perfect records. One of my all-time favorite runs for an artist, starting with this and Music of My Mind and going to Songs in the Key of Life. Just an incredible kind of 5-album run for Stevie Wonder. It's just, he gets me, I guess, and I just think he's a phenomenal artist. He's one of the best singers of all time. Just kind of my ideal 70s pop, soulful R&B. Just a great album from a great artist. So that's it. It's another crazy year. I mean, I can't believe I didn't even mention Exile on Main Street. I know Kramzer had it on his, but I mean, we're talking about just some of the great albums of all time. Just can't even make our list. Just too much good stuff.
The danger right now is like we're talking about, there's a lot of great albums coming out, especially with rock, but right around now, like you've got Stevie Wonder, pop is it's about to get really good with Carpenters, and You Love ABBA and stuff that's going to come up soon, and it's a great era for not just rock but pop as well, and soul and R&B just hitting stride. Disco will come later, which is a different discussion, but
pretty much all music. This is, well, my peak anyway, around this time. But leave your favorite albums of the year, 1972, in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bells for notification, and join us next time for 1973. It doesn't get any easier, folks.